Hello artists, welcome back to the art room. Mrs. Larrabee here. This week we're going to be drawing from nature. We're going to do a simple fun drawing. We're actually going to finish it next week, so we're going to get started this week. Here's the supplies that you'll need. 1 sheet of paper and your crayons. If you would like to also add watercolor, you can grab those too. Grab those supplies and we'll get started. This week we're going to be focusing on nature. That's things that we would find outdoor that naturally happen. And we're going to be looking specifically at birds this week. I would like to introduce you to the bird, the cardinal. This is a bird that we don't see a whole lot in our area, but it's kind of a cool bird because he's become the symbol of winter. I know it's hard to believe, but it actually still is the season of winter. For us, colder seasons of the year might mean that we need a thicker jacket and gloves and a hat and a heater on at night, but it doesn't typically snow here, right? Other parts of the United States right now are still getting snow. In the winter, when it starts to snow in these colder climates, birds will typically migrate or move to a place that's warmer. In fact, some birds migrate to our area to get out of the cold winter. But the cardinal doesn't. The cardinal will stay in its area as long as it has plenty of food. We're going to be drawing the cardinal this week in the style of Charley Harper. Mr. Harper is an illustrator. He was from the United States and he was known for drawing nature. And the really neat way about how he approached his artwork is to do it very simply. Here's a quote by Mr. Harper. "I try not to put everything in, I try to leave everything out." Mr. Harper went on to describe what he meant by that. He doesn't try to draw every feather of the bird, but he tries to give you an idea of what this bird might look like in its pattern. He also talks about how fascinating nature is, that all the shapes and color combinations and patterns and textures make for very interesting pictures. And I think that's very true. Mr. Harper made all sorts of birds using very simple shapes. And you can tell the difference between them. You can distinguish what's the cardinal against what's a tropical bird, against what might be a woodpecker, just by the pattern and the different size shapes and all these different little nods that he gives toward the bird. So in his style, with this idea in mind of simplicity, let's grab our paper and get started. This week we're going to draw our bird. Next week we're going to draw the habitat, which is where the bird would live. All right, so grab your sheet of paper. We're going to fold it in half side to side. This week we're going to be drawing our bird on one side. Next week we'll flip it over and we'll draw our background. And then we'll cut out our bird and put it on our background. But for this week we're just drawing. Grab your black crayon and let's get started. When we draw, we're going to be looking at the simplest shapes that we can to make our bird. So the shape of this cardinal is kind of a teardrop or a raindrop shape. Let's air draw together on our paper. We could start here at a point and make a diagonal line, and then it curves around and comes back up to a point again at the top. All right, I'm going to draw. You might want to watch first. I'm going to draw this diagonal line. It's going to begin to curve at the bottom and then back up to a point at the top. All right, your turn. Go ahead and draw the shape or the body of your bird. You can pause the video if you need to. All right, next we're going to draw part of the face on our bird, the eyes and the beak. So I'm going to take 2 fingers and rest them at the very top of my bird. So here's the point. 2 fingers down, I'm going to draw a straight line across. At the end of each side, I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to go ahead and color that in. This is going to be the eyes of our cardinal. And then underneath the circle, I'm going to draw a curved line connecting the 2 sides. Kind of looks like we just gave our cardinal a really big smile. We're going to add the beak in though, because cardinal doesn't have a mouth and lips like we do. He has a beak, right? Let's start by adding a straight line. So we're just going to divide that shape into 2. And we're going to add a triangle to the top and an upside down triangle to the bottom. Here's what I mean by that. I'm going to start in the corner and go up to the top in the middle. I'm going to start at the top and go down to the corner. See the triangle? All right, I'm going to do just the reverse at the bottom. Corner to the middle of the bottom, corner to the middle of the bottom. Now we have a beak. All right, so we have the shape of our bird, we have the eyes, we have the mouth and the beak. Let's draw 2 wings just by adding straight lines to the side. His wings are tucked in at his side. And 2 sturdy legs so he can stand. One last thing our bird is missing. We need to add a tail Think about what shape you see the tail is here. Mr. Harper's Cardinal has the same shape on his. So I'm going to start kind of where this wing is on the side. I'm going to draw a straight line up and over and connect them back. All right, we've drawn our cardinal. It's time to color it in. I would like for us to add just a little bit of pattern to our bird. Mr. Harper does the same thing with his animals, often giving them just a little bit of pattern somewhere on them. So this is totally up to you as the artist where you want to add your pattern. I added a little stripes to the wings on these guys. I think I'm going to add just some diagonal lines to the head of this one, just to do something a little different. So it's your choice. You can put your patterns on the lines, on the tail, on the beak even. I'm going to add mine up here to the crest of my bird. All right, and now we can color our bird in. Cardinals are traditionally red. You may choose a different color if you would like. I'm going to stick with red so that mine does look like a cardinal. And this is the time where if you wanted to move to watercolors, you could. You could watercolor in your bird. I'm going to stick with crayon. And I just wanted to mention one last thing before we're done for today. Know that with your crayon, you can make a dark color by pressing down. And you could make a light color with the same crayon by not pressing as hard. These are called values. It's the same color. I'm still using red, right? But I have a dark red and a light red. I have different values of red. This just kind of adds interest too. So think about some areas on your bird where you could add dark color and areas where you could add light color. All right, go ahead and you're going to finish drawing your bird. I'm just going to sink this guy in here. I've already colored one guy, so I'll show you this one. So you're going to color them all in, and that's going to be it for today. We're going to stop there. Next week, we're going to come back and we're going to draw the background or the habitat where the bird's going to live. All right, so you have your bird. You need to put him somewhere safe. Put him in your art portfolio, put him where you keep your art supplies, put him with your other school books so that you have him for next week. I can't wait to see you then when we add to our cardinals. Have a great week.